What comes to your mind when you hear the word failure? What kind of emotional response do you get to the concept of failure? When I was younger, man, I loathed failing, whether it was losing at a sporting event or whether it was getting a bad grade on a test that I had poured my heart and my soul into. That feeling of failure could be so gut-wrenching. And over the years, I've learned a concept that's helped me redefine my relationship with failure. Because your relationship with failure is the thing that stands between you playing small, keeping reserved, and not having what you want, and you going big, shining your light, and having the kind of life that you would absolutely love. And that concept we're going to look at today. Check it out. Hey there, my name is Matt Boggs, and I'm the founder of the Love and Relationship Division of the Brave Thinking Institute, where our mission is increasing love in the world one heart at a time. And so if you're not part of this community, hit that subscribe button and click the bell, because every week we bring you videos to empower you in your love life. So I'm going to share with you the principle that can transform failure into something empowering in your life. And to set this up, let me give you an example. When I was in my early 20s, I started a new career in sales, and I was selling these vacation packages down in Mexico. And having come out of a teaching background, I was horrible at sales. I didn't know the first thing about sales. And yet I set a goal to sell $1 million worth of these vacation packages, because the people who were the best at that resort, that's what they did. And if you could sell $1 million, you would enter the $1 million club. And I thought, man, that'd be cool. So I set that as my goal, and I got to work, and I studied, and I practiced, and I got better. And I started making some sales here and there. And then the pace picked up, and I started making more and more and more. And with 6 weeks left to go before the end of the year, I had sold $900,000 of this product. Now, I was selling about $100,000 a month, and I had 6 weeks to go. So I felt super confident. I felt ready to achieve this goal. And then something happened. I went to work. I didn't make a sale. The next day, didn't make a sale. The next day, didn't make a sale. All week I went to work that week, didn't make a sale. The next week, went to work expecting, okay, for sure, now I'm going to make a sale. I just went all week and blanked that entire week. The next day, didn't make a sale. Tuesday, no sale. Wednesday, no sale. The second week, I didn't make a sale. And I don't know if you've been in that situation where you start to feel like you're in a slump. You start to feel like you're powerless. I felt my stomach turn into knots, and driving to work, I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm somehow sabotaging this. I don't know. I just felt so powerless. I felt scared, and I felt this fear rise up in me that I've worked all year for this goal, and it's slipping through my fingertips. Well, I have 4 weeks left to sell $100,000 worth of this product. I'm going to get busy. The week after that, I don't make a sale. The week after that, no sales. I went 26 days with no sales. And so I've got 2 weeks left to try to sell $100,000 worth of this product. And I'm feeling helpless, and I'm feeling defeated, and I'm feeling filled with fear that I'm going to have this failure, and then it's going to be with me forever. So it was in that dark place that I really started searching. You know, it's fascinating. When we are at our darkest, when we are at our lowest, that's when we will search and motivate and try to climb and claw our way out. And so I started searching for what was going on in me. And I came across a couple of really powerful ideas regarding failure that transformed my relationship with failure and led me to an insight that changed my life. The first idea was this: failure isn't a stop sign, it's a qualifier. Failure isn't a stop sign, it's a qualifier. In other words, any failure we have in our life, it's not meant to say, well, you need to quit or you need to stop. It's meant to cause us to say, how can I grow? How can I become more than this circumstance? How can I raise my game? How can I become better? And so redefining failure is, this isn't a definition of me, but this is a calling for me to say, how can I become better and improve myself? It was a major transformation for me. And so in that search for becoming better, it led me to a discovery that's changed my life. And the discovery was this: anytime we're feeling like we're failing at something, we've either failed at it or we're on our way to not achieving the goal, the question becomes, what internal resistance do I have to achieving this goal? what internal, if you've been struggling with attracting the love of your life, what internal resistance, maybe hidden barrier or block do you have to actually creating that result? And so I hired a coach and a counselor who could help reflect back to me what my internal resistance was, and it was profound. You see, I had hooked up in my mind that if I achieved the $1 million goal, that I was going to lose my closest friendships down in Mexico because those guys weren't anywhere close to selling $1 million. And so I had hooked up this belief that they were going to reject me, they were going to become jealous of me, and that achieving that goal of $1 million would cost me these relationships. And yet what I valued most was the relationships, way more than that goal of $1 million in sales. And so I was subconsciously sabotaging myself because those two goals of having the relationship and having the success were in conflict with one another. So anytime you are in resistance to achieving a goal that you want in your life, ask, what kind of internal resistance do I have to this goal? When I got that resistance aligned, when I broke through that resistance and said, no, that goal is not going to cost me these friendships, something amazing happened in my life. The next 2 weeks, I went to work. I didn't just sell $100,000 in that product. I sold $200,000 worth of that product right before the end date of that goal and soared past the $1 million mark. I was able to be in the $1 million salesperson club and have the friendships that I wanted. And then throughout my life, that's been such a valuable aspect. Another example is when I was trying to hire someone to replace the role that I was doing at a company so that I could go to the next level of leadership. I could not find the person that I wanted to hire. And I began to ask myself, what internal resistance do I have to this? And the thought dawned on me, wow, if I bring someone in that's better than I was so that I could go to the next level leadership, then it's going to make me look bad. I'll be perceived as less than because this other person came in and did an even better job than I did. And that was a part of me that was based in fear. And I thought, well, that isn't serving me. And so I was able to heal that part of me, release it, and within 2 weeks, literally found that next person who's still running that department for us today and is crushing it. And I'm so grateful for the amazing work that that person does. And so if you would love support in finding the internal resistance in you and dissolving that and breaking free from that, we've got an amazing program called Break Free, where you can learn and identify what are the hidden blocks preventing you from having what it is that you want. We'll put a link in this video. You can check it out. And I think it's really going to serve you if you're struggling with that. It's an amazing program. And the important point to remember is this. Just like the Napoleon Hill quote said, hidden within every adversity, every heartache, every failure is the seed of an equal or greater benefit. When you redefine failure in those terms and you fail at something, no, there is the seed of an equal or greater benefit embedded within this circumstance. This failure is not a stop sign. This is a qualifier. How can I find that seed of good? How can I become more of myself, be called to the higher version of me, and move forward? When you redefine failure in that way, it takes on a whole new relationship and propels you to a life that you would love living. And my question for you is this. If you had no fear of failure, if it were impossible to fail, what would you go after? What dream would you love to achieve? Go ahead and post that in the comment section below. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.